Welcome to another edition of Kiwanis Conversations. My name is John Maihos for the Kiwanis Club of Beverly. People ask, what is Kiwanis? Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to changing the world one child and one community at a time. Today on Kiwanis Conversations, I'm pleased to have with me two guests from a local acting company called the Striving Artists Theater Company. Today on Kiwanis Conversations, I have Erika Lamarre and Greg Luzitano. Greg, thank you very much for being with me, and thank you very much for joining us on Kiwanis Conversations. Well, a local theater company. Yeah. I mean, probably a lot of people have heard of the North Shore Music Theater, but that's probably not you.
No,
that's not you. But you're doing some really wonderful things in the local community. So you started this whole business as well some years ago. Let's start with that. Let's start with the starting point.
Sure.
When did you start it?
It officially was founded 5 years ago.
What was your motivation?
Our motivation was that we were at Salve Regina University.
And that's in Rhode Island?
Yes,
right?
it is,
okay.
Where the majority of the people who were the founders, in fact, all of the people who were founders, were students there, and were actively involved in the theater department there.
Right.
In fact, we had a student-run theater organization there called Stage Fright, of which at one point I was the president. And you know, we got a lot out of it, and a lot of sort of the growing pains that we needed to experience. We got out of the way there. There were plenty more growing pains as time went on, but you know, we learned a lot doing that and enjoyed doing it enough that, you know, when we all graduated, we felt like, well, why not just try to continue this as a separate entity.
So you came to the North Shore from
did
college
ultimately,
and decided to open a theater company.
Right, exactly. The first maybe 18 months were still in Rhode Island, or performed in Rhode Island, because the school was gracious enough to sort of allow a transition time as we, you know, sort of still used their facilities and many of the performers and some of their resources until we could, you know, establish a little bit of money,
right?
You know, to go forward. And then at that point, we moved into Massachusetts and you know, filed with the federal government and with the state of Massachusetts as 501c3.
Opened your own business, and you're
exactly.
You're a 501c3, so
yes,
you're a public nonprofit. So
that is correct.
People can actually donate money to your organization.
And they can write it off.
There's a plus.
You know, yeah.
There's a plus. Now, tell me, we have a beautiful actress over here, and we definitely want to focus on Erika for just a minute. You're involved with this theater company, but it's just for the performance end of it. You don't actually run the organization. You're just, thankfully, the nice face out there that gets us to come and see the shows.
Oh, goodness,
is that right?
no, yeah. I am not involved in the business aspect of that. I leave that to smarter people than myself. But yes, I got involved with Striving Artists last summer when I did a production of Much Ado About Nothing that Greg directed and was also a part of. So that's been my involvement with them.
And this year you're in the production as well that's opening in the summertime.
Yes. We're doing Twelfth Night.
And
yes.
what is your role? I mean, in college I was a tree, so I mean, like, what are you?
That's a noble part.
There are no
I branched
small
down
roles.
since then, you know. But
Hey.
yeah. Tell me, and what was your role? What is your role in this upcoming show?
I play Olivia, and she is a lonely socialite, lonely society girl mourning the death of her brother, and she falls in love with a woman who is actually, she believes, is a man, is dressed as a man, and hilarity ensues.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. In a nutshell, it sounds good. And we'll look forward to that. Now, Greg, you've been behind the scenes getting all of this going, and I would imagine your rehearsals are now going in full swing because you're opening this particular show in July. What were the dates? Where is it running? And I'm sorry, what time frame?
It is. The first performance is July 22nd. The last performance is July 31st. Those 2 weekends we are sort of touring with it. So the 22nd will be at Lynch Park in Beverly. The 23rd will be at Heritage Park in Fall River. The 24th will be at the Salem Willows. and then the 30th and 31st will be at Borderland State Park in Easton. So we sort of cover
Wow.
eastern Massachusetts.
So the two opportunities for most Beverly people are going to be at Lynch Park
Yes.
or at Salem Willows.
Yes.
Yes.
And again, Lynch Park is going to be the opening night?
Yes, it will.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
the best night to go, right?
I mean, it
Yes.
should have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
We're performing in the Rose Garden there, which is gorgeous.
It is.
And for that reason alone, people should just come
Yeah.
and sit there for a couple of hours. And if they happen to pay attention to us, well, that would be okay too.
And I think 1 week later, homecoming starts in
That's
Beverly
exactly
as
right.
well.
That's
So
exactly right.
that's a great time in Beverly. A lot of people are back in the area for that, and I hope they come down to see this. Now, there aren't any fences at Lynch Park, so this must be totally open to the public.
That it is. Yep. All of these performances are free. We will be accepting donations from anybody who comes and feels like, oh, I enjoyed that. I'd like to support it so that, each year's whatever donations we get pay for the next year's, So we rely on that, but it's you don't have to donate. It's open to the public, and we think of it as a service for the local community to give them something.
And there got to be costs to do this.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
With each show, there's the rental of rehearsal space. There are props, costumes, set pieces such as they are. It's
Sometimes
minimal.
royalties, I would imagine.
Yes, many
as
times
well.
royalties,
Yeah.
which is why we tend to do
Now,
original
Twelfth Night,
work,
yeah, I was going to say there
or things
probably
that-
aren't
right,
monies
where
going back to
people-
Shakespeare's
Right, exactly.
ancestors or
No,
anything.
no,
Yeah.
no.
What are some of the other, well, actually, we'll talk about that maybe after our break.
Sure.
But talk about local theater for just a minute. What other local theater companies are there that are currently alive in the North Shore?
Okay, well, there are certainly some. We have been affiliated in the past, well, and remain affiliated with Theater to Go.
Yes.
Out of Wakefield. There's Wakefield Rep, right?
Yeah.
Which Erika has participated in the past.
Yes.
There's a lot of overlap.
Right.
What we've found is that there will be, a handful of different companies, and at one point or another, you'll go to the first rehearsal for a show and realize everybody in the room
Yes.
Sure.
from different other places that you've been, in the last year or so.
So it's a close family.
It really
Yeah.
is, and I think that goes a long way towards the sort of mentality of we don't have a lot of resources, and this is going to rely on everyone sort of pitching in, and you might have to move your own. You might have to move your own set pieces. You might have to furnish your own costumes from your closet and that kind of thing. You won't have a personal makeup artist. But
There's
at
no
the
green
end,
room for you, huh?
Right,
There's no
exactly.
special-
No, right.
yeah,
The
no
green
trailer.
room is behind a shrub
right,
somewhere.
Right.
But at the end of it, then you know that you fully participated, and that succeed or fail, it was something that we all did together and collaboratively.
It's a team.
You
It's
learn,
a
you
team and a
learn so
family
much.
at the same time.
Yeah. The close friendships form, and then you learn so much because you can't specialize in just one area. You learn about costumes, you learn about props, you learn about set construction, and it's an experience. It's a great experience from beginning to end for the actors and the audience actually to watch the end result of that work.
Well, if anybody's just tuning in, you're watching Kiwanis Conversations, and our guests today are Greg Luzitano and Erika Lamarre, and it's from the Striving Artists Theater Company, right here in Beverly, I guess, and in parts around the eastern shores of Massachusetts. Right. You've got the Salem Willows performance coming up as well. Now, where will that be?
That will be in the half shell that they have right down on the water. Which sort of, if you go to the end of the strip of activities.
Nice little Chinese restaurant I go to there all the time.
There
Okay,
you
go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Once you've reached the end of those, they're on over the crest of a hill. There's a half shell that sits right there and is really I think it's a nice little space for us to do it. It has a theatrical feel.
Yes.
It's not too large so that we don't seem dwarfed by it. Nothing is better than having a great big acoustic thing behind you when you're outdoors
Push your voices
and competing
out.
with
Yeah,
the wind
yeah, yeah.
and with the sound of someone having a cookout and whatever else may be going on, the sound of skee ball.
Those seagulls can be
Right,
pretty
yeah,
loud.
yeah, exactly,
right.
Yeah.
And that must bring on some challenges when you're outdoors. So especially the weather.
Yes.
I can imagine in the rain. Do you perform in the rain? What do you do?
Well,
What do you-
what I have told the actors.
I want my money back.
You're
Yeah, I
right.
guess-
but, here's the 50 cents you dropped accidentally. What I tell the actors is the audience decides. If we're performing and we're getting soaked and we're miserable, but they're still sitting there and clearly still paying attention,
Right.
then it's our duty to continue until they decide they've had enough. you know.
Right, right.
It, knock on wood, hasn't happened to us yet, but it certainly in the past when I was doing this with industrial theater out of Cambridge, we had that happen to us a few times. And sometimes it works really well. When we did Romeo and Juliet, upon Juliet's death was when the skies opened and it started pouring rain.
Fitting,
That
of
felt
course,
like we had requested it, you know. But some of the time it can. But if we're doing well enough, and if it's just sort of a little bit of rain, I think that the audience doesn't tend to mind so much. They just say, well, we're prepared, and they open an umbrella and they continue to pay attention and say, who cares that you're getting wet? You know? And,
Is it anything like Fenway Park? You can go into rain delay and start again, or
well,
anything
yes,
like that.
right.
Yeah, that happens as well.
You know, I'll just pull out the phone
Yeah.
and look at the radar, and if it looks like, oh, this is only going to be a quick one, then I'll say, we'll take an intermission and we'll come back.
Right.
You know, and then see how many people stick around.
Well, it sounds like it's really an awful lot of fun to be involved in local theater. And when we come back, I also want to talk about how people could get involved in what you're doing here on the North Shore. Obviously, well, probably not for Twelfth Night. I would imagine your cast is all set.
Yes.
Probably pretty much building bonds as you do
right,
your
indeed.
rehearsals right now. And also, we want to hear a little bit more about you and some of the great things that you've done. And maybe you'll give us a sneak peek of some of your lines. I don't know. Would that be kind of
dear.
fun? Yeah,
we
you know,
can, we can
random.
try.
yeah, you can pick anything you want. You know, it'll be your call. Okay, with that, I want to remind everybody that you're watching another edition of Kiwanis Conversations. My name is John Maihos. We're talking today with people from the Striving Artists Theater Company. And we'll be back with more right after this word from Kiwanis.
Changes catch your eye, and you come to realize one can make a difference. Reach out, stand out, find out what it's all about. See it all, stand tall, be there to catch them when they fall.
Since 1915, Kiwanis International has touched millions of lives through thousands of service programs for children around the world. When you help one child, you help the world.
Life is bigger than just one, but one can make a difference.
Welcome back to Kiwanis Conversations. My name is John Maihos, and with me today on the show from the Striving Artists Theater Company is Greg Luzitano and Erika Lamarre. Again, thanks for being with us. We're talking about some of the fun things that you do in local theater, and also about a great performance coming up this summer called Twelfth Night, which is great. Now that's Shakespeare, right? I mean, I think that people probably know that, but just in case, you know, we can say that. So it's as old as the hills, but when was this play written? Do you know any of the details?
Hold on, let me check
Oh,
Wiki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was some 400 years ago.
Wow.
Or so.
And it's still relevant.
Well,
Yeah, I think Twelfth Night, particularly right now, the themes in it, they are timeless, and it's some of the themes in Twelfth Night are particularly touching because it touches on grief and death and dying, war. Yet it's a comedy, and love, and the different shapes and sizes that love comes in, and how we will kind of overstep our bounds, and we step outside of what we expect of ourselves when we fall in love. And that's why I have always loved this particular show.
Yeah. Well, so what he wrote way back then, still applying today.
Absolutely.
Isn't that just amazing? Isn't that just amazing?
Very much so.
Local theater, again. How do people get involved in local theater? How do they find you?
Well, online.
Online, okay.
one, yeah.
You have a website.
I do, www.strivingartists.org.
Okay.
It is. It has a lot of video of shows that we've done in the
I
past.
saw that, a few YouTube
Exactly,
videos
yeah.
that were fun to watch.
Yep, some of our short films are up there, or all of our short films are up there.
Facebook page. You have a
Yes,
Facebook
exactly.
page.
There's a Facebook page, and within those places, there are contact emails. We have Striving Artists emails, where if people said, "Well, hey, I'm really good at sound design or something like that," they could come to us. If they said, "Well, I'm an actor, can you add me to your mailing list so that the next time you're having auditions, I can get involved." If they want to pitch something original, we have this book is loaded with original scripts from the first 5 years alone of what we've done up to this point, and
You have your own book.
we do. Yes, we're just putting it out now.
That's terrific.
It'll be on the website. The setup will be for a donation level of $25. We will send this as a thank you gift. Sort of the PBS style.
I'm not going to find it at Barnes & Noble just
No,
yet.
no.
Okay, I have to get it on your website.
Well, right, yeah. Perhaps
right.
if we sell millions of copies,
Yeah.
then I'll put it in the chains. But no, for right now, it'll be available on.
So this is a
online.
fundraising tool for you
Exactly,
in a way.
exactly.
To try to cover the expenses that you talked about.
Precisely.
Okay.
And at the same time, I think that it's a good summation of sort of Shakespeare aside, a lot of what we've done over the first 5 years for people who aren't familiar with us. It's and as I say, if there are people who are writers who come to us and say, "Hey, I've got a scene the next time that you're putting something original together. Do you want to consider that?" Certainly, at the donation level, we're always happy to have people get involved that way. Whatever they want to do, we'll help you set up chairs.
Sure.
Hey, I've got a closet full of clothes that I want to donate for your costume.
So all these things are useful to you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Where do you keep them
Absolutely.
all? Oh my God, you must have.
Don't tell the wife.
Yeah,
but, they're occupying some space.
They're all
but,
over the place. Oh, that's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
So. And now, if somebody was maybe first time, maybe a young person is watching, or even an older person, and they say to themselves, I've always wanted to get into theater. It's something that I think I can do. I don't know how to do it. What advice would you give to them? Can they come and talk to you, or come to see the show, or how do you get started in the business? How do you
just try it?
Yeah.
On the local level, if you want to be lighting up Broadway, then there are hoops you have to jump through.
You've got a few years ahead of us.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
But no, at the local level, audition for something. Try it.
Right.
If it's a big show, and if you really want to be involved, even if you don't have any lines, you might just be someone who's in the background. But what you'll get out of it is the experience of, okay, so this is what it's like. This is what we do to put it together, and then the next time, you might improve. We all have to pay our dues, and yeah, it's really.
I don't know
practice.
about that paying your dues stuff with the internet these days. It seems like somebody can go right on the internet and just be instant star.
Right.
That's happened a few times already in just in the past few years.
Although I'll tell you, it's hard to manufacture because I've tried.
Yeah.
I'm not an internet star yet, despite my efforts.
Right.
But in terms of just in the local community sort of level, just give it a shot.
Right.
Yeah, wherever you are, going to see local theater, going to see shows is in and of itself a really great introduction into this kind of work.
So the big stars in whether it's Broadway or Hollywood or something, they probably got their start in a local theater company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty
My
amazing.
understanding, in fact, earlier we were talking, and I think you mentioned that you played a tree at one point when you were younger. My understanding is that Matthew Broderick, the first part that he played was the wall in Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a thankless part. You know, it's small.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone who's played the
Yeah,
role.
right. No, it's a great
excellent.
role.
But,
Yes,
you
it's a
know,
great piece. That's
because
right.
there are no bad roles.
Yeah.
But yeah, you start at one level, and next thing you know, it takes off. And if the only thing that you get out of it is, you might not have success, but half of the friends that I have are people that I've met through this community. You know what I mean? And what you get out of it is it's collaboration. You're having to trust one another in order to make it work, because you're going out there in front of people who've paid most of the time to see you do something, and you trust that when you say what you're supposed to say, that the person next to you will say what they're supposed to say and not, mess you up.
So there's a little of that improvising sometimes that
Oh,
goes
sure,
on,
sure.
because I would imagine in live theater you're not going to turn around and say, "Okay, take two. Can we start the show
yes,
from the
exactly,
top?" It
right.
doesn't-
You could,
yeah.
but no one will pay attention.
Right.
Yeah. So bonds are developed, and a lot of friendships are made, and it's something to do, with your spare time. If as I say, if for nothing else, if not for the art of it, or however you want to think of it, the what you get out of it is a community.
I just came back from a cruise, and Norwegian freestyle or whatever. But what a great group! What a great cast they had there, and everybody's on stage every night, and
Yeah.
they work very hard. And I think
Yeah.
to myself, now there are some striving artists.
Yes.
It's amazing. So yeah, you can see the intensity that goes on when you see that final performance,
Sure.
and all the practice that goes up to it. Now, how long the show that you're training for right now, or rehearsing for now, is called Twelfth Night, a Shakespearean production, of course. And you're going to be opening that in July 22nd in Litch Park. And then, now what was the date for the Salem Willows?
Salem Willows is July 24th.
So July 24th, just a few days later.
Exactly.
And it's free in your
is free.
case. But you're already rehearsing. How long have you been rehearsing?
We've been rehearsing for, a month?
Yes.
A month already?
Yeah.
And
And
you'll
we
be
have a
rehearsing
month
right
to go.
up to the night.
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll
that-
be making changes
Yeah.
probably at intermission, saying, okay, that joke didn't work, so we're going to do this to try and fix it in the second half.
Yeah. And now, when you go to these particular shows outside, what type of audience actually comes to it? What do you notice, if you notice, when you gaze out into the audience and you look around? Who do you see? I mean, other than family.
Yeah.
Yes.
All types. All types. I mean, probably one of the coolest things I think that happened last summer was there was this little boy who ostensibly was there kicking around his soccer ball, if I remember correctly, or dribbling his basketball or something like that, and just wandered over. And in every single one of the photos from that performance, he is literally as far from the stage as I am from this table.
No
right
kidding.
now.
Yeah.
He was riveted.
And it was Shakespeare. And
Exactly.
he was a young child.
Right.
He
Yes, he
sat
was maybe 6.
He sat down and just watched the rest of that show and was captivated.
Yes, and was reacting when,
Yeah. Laughing at the
when the boy and the
jokes.
girl got together and all of that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. He was grossed out by them kissing and things like
Well,
that.
maybe not
So-
this year. Yeah, who
Right,
knows?
right,
Yeah,
right.
another year. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Now, after this particular performance, which actually runs July 22nd to July 31st, you've got more in store.
Oh, yes,
so
absolutely.
You don't stop this, and this isn't your full-time job, is it?
No, this doesn't
you
pay
do.
the bills.
Yeah, and
No.
for you, is this
No.
your full-time job?
No, it is not.
You actually do other things to make money in life too, huh? Not yet. This isn't full-time. Oh.
No, not yet.
Well,
Not
maybe
yet.
it will be after the summer. You know,
Right,
maybe
yeah,
somebody will see you.
Someone could come.
Yeah.
And,
You know, it's
right.
anything's possible.
Right.
But you have some other things planned for the rest of the year.
We do.
I guess there's a play called Love. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, that was a play written in the 70s. It's sort of I don't want to call it a dark comedy, but it is. It's a play in which a man meets up with his old college friend who at that moment is about to jump off a bridge. And he stops him from doing it, and they reunite and they talk. And at one point or another in the conversation, they realize that the friend who stopped the other one, his wife, is better suited to be with the friend than with the man that she married. So she ends up meeting him, and then there's this sort of war back and forth over this woman, It's
Love. There
right.
you go.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's LUV.
Yeah, right.
Instead of LOVE.
Yeah.
It's a commentary basically. So we'll be doing that in November.
Where will that be?
That will be in Salem.
In Salem.
Yeah, we're negotiating right now, so I don't want
Yeah,
to say the location.
Right, the
but,
final location
right,
will be somewhere in Salem or here on the North Shore.
It will
anyway,
certainly
so
be on the
that'll
North Shore,
That'll be
yes.
terrific.
Yep.
Okay. And then coming up, finalizing the year, you have another production?
We will be doing our third annual original Christmas show, which is comprised, again, of local writers who've contributed to the book and who've contributed to the last two Christmas shows that we've done. And it's all scenes and monologues and sketches and things, related to the holidays, with performances of, traditional holiday songs.
Sounds great. And people should learn more about this by visiting your website, which
Absolutely.
is
www.strivingartists.org.
And Erika, do you have any Shakespearean lines that you'd like to throw out at us?
There's a lovely speech when my character Olivia declares her love for Viola, who is disguised as a man named Cesario. She has named herself Cesario. And this woman finally comes out of mourning and declares how she feels. And she says, Cesario, by the roses of spring, by maidhood, honor, truth, and everything, I love thee so, that maugre all thy pride, nor wit nor reason can my passion hide. And it's a lovely example of the language being used to the best of its abilities. So.
Well, folks, go ahead. Did you?
Well, now I don't have to worry.
Yeah,
about that one. So you just got that down.
Well, if you're looking forward to see some great Shakespeare this summer, then you definitely want to catch up with the Striving Artists Theater Company and their performance of Twelfth Night. And it's their 5th year of doing it. I can imagine what their 12th year is going to be like. And if you could, check out their book. You can get this online, and a small donation will help their theater company. You have been watching another edition of Kiwanis Conversations. My name is John Maihos for the Kiwanis Club of Beverly. Wishing you a great summer. Hope to see you at Lynch Park for our bike safety rodeo this year. And thanks for everything you're doing to support our club.
Changes catch your eye, and you come to realize one can make a difference. Reach out, stand out, find out what it's all about. See it all, stand tall, be there to catch them when they fall. Life is bigger than just one. But one can make a difference. Nothing changes quite as much as change, and the things we rearrange, trying to make a difference. Reach down, deep down, look at the sky of another town. Listen well, the wind will tell you something good is in the air. Oh, life is bigger than just one. Oh, but one can make a difference. Reach out and stand down, find out what it's all about. Life is bigger than just one